Well, hello everybody, it's Richard here. Welcome back to my channel and cheers for a Wednesday today, Wednesday the 6th of May 2020. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the content. And if you're a regular viewer, then don't forget to push the little bell so that you know when my next broadcast is coming. And thank you everyone. I sincerely mean that, for your comments, and I really enjoy the comments, and certainly the comments that correct me when I make a mistake. It seems that I've got the days a bit muddled up, and so what I've decided to do, I'm not going to say what day it is. Today would be day 30, I think, officially. I think we'll just have the date and the day in which I do the broadcast so that we know that we're in the current day, because we've got today, I think we're at day 30 today, day 30 today. So we've done a full month now, if you think of it in those terms. So I think it's got to the point where I think I'll just use the actual date and the day. So today would be Wednesday the 6th of May. So I would say welcome back, to a tuna day for Wednesday the 6th of May. I hope that's all right with everybody. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're enjoying it. I've several things to talk about today. One of the things, of course, is to just give you an update from the press. We had the press briefing today by the government, and today, sadly, we have numbers that are on the increase for those people passing away in the UK. The current death toll, that's the community deaths and also in hospital, now stands at 32,898 people have passed away. And it's very sad that that is on the increase slightly. That's an increase of 649 people in the UK since yesterday. The total of the number of test kits delivered, that's not tests completed, that's just tests delivered, and there's no guarantee that those tests will be returned, is now 69,000 tests delivered today. That's just one day. That's quite a long way off the 1 million mark that the government was saying they were going to do. And one thing I would like to say is that Boris Johnson has finally conceded that we have a major epidemic in care homes. I watched Parliament Live today under the new lockdown rules, which basically means they can have, I think, 40 members of Parliament in the chamber, and the rest are virtual by Zoom, so the screens around the edge of the chamber. So he was answering questions there. And it's good to see that we now have a credible opposition in the Labour Party, and the leader of that is Sir Keir Starmer. I have to take my hat off to him. I was never a fan of Jeremy Corbyn or his sidekick, and I think Keir Starmer is going to make a good opposition leader. It's always best to have an opposition which you can listen to and think, actually, that's a good question to ask to hold the government to account. I'm a very passionate Conservative, but I do believe that the government needs to be held to account, and certainly Labour, I think, if this is what's going to be like, are going to do an extremely good job. So I just thought I'd like to put the record straight on that one. Sadly, the United States of America, the US, and a lot of my viewers are from the US, sadly, your death rate continues with 70,000 plus. And I hear today that Donald Trump is going to be standing down all the committees regarding coronavirus, which I think is a bit short-sighted. But then I think Donald Trump, to some people, and including myself, is a bit of a joke over here, and no one really takes him very seriously. Sadly, the biggest power in the world, and we have somebody running the show who looks really like a bit of a clown, when I say so. Anyway, that's my personal view. You may not agree with me. So the UK has the most cases of coronavirus in Europe, and those continue to rise, and the government are being questioned on that today. So we'll see what happens in the coming days from tomorrow as well. So I'll keep you updated. So that's my update from the press. The other thing I was going to mention was the YouTube video of the day is going to be about Norman Field. And Norman Field, I've been watching for some time. He's a gentleman I really do enjoy watching, because he fits in with all the things I like talking about, and that's, he likes to talk about electronic radios and gramophones and record players. And in his latest update, he's actually recording onto an acetate disc from an early cutting machine that you could buy back in the 30s. So if you're interested in any of those things and how that all works, I'll I'll put a link to his channel, but it's certainly worth watching. He doesn't upload that often, but when he does, it's a good view to watch, and he's a really nice guy. It comes over really clear. So that's good news on that one. Also, the record of the day today is this one, which I promised you, which was the Red Red Robin Comes Bobbing Along by Lou Peringer. And one of my viewers actually mentioned that actually Lou wasn't an American at all, he's British. So what I did a bit of a search on Wikipedia and came up with some answers here. And it seems that he was born on the 12th of January 1906 and he died on the 14th of November 1978. And he was an English pianist, dance band leader and businessman. He was active from the 1930s to the 1950s with his band, and he made many recordings and appeared on radio and television. But one of the things I thought was quite important to say was that, where is it here? It was just here. Right, Peringer's radio broadcast, Write a Tune for £1,000, a songwriting contest broadcast in 1945 and 1947 and in 1950 were very popular and produced a big hit. Cruising Down the River was the one that won. During the 1950s, Peringer presented Housewife's Choice on the light BBC programme, and in 1959 his orchestra moved to the Lyceum Ballroom, where he was often seen on TV's programme Come Dancing. So if you want to go into Wikipedia, there's quite an interesting bit about him there, which I thought was an interest to me. So I'm going to include this paper with the record cover now. But it's a particularly nice copy. This one was recorded in 1948 and sounds really good on the Decca 73. So enjoy that. That's really good. Thanks for that. And the Sounds of Time record I'm playing today is this one. It's Sounds of Time Side 3, Britain Stands Alone. And it finishes off with an amazing, rousing speech by Churchill. And I know you're all enjoying this particular series that I'm doing, but it does sound very good on the Decca, dare I say it. And it's also about the beginning of the record. It talks about children putting their gas masks on, and because of an air raid. But it's a really good part of the whole thing for VE Day, which we've got coming up on Friday the 8th this week, and also it's a bank holiday in the United Kingdom, which I didn't realise until I was speaking to a lady today about her very nice Fiat 500 Abarth C, which a little into secret I'm thinking about purchasing, would you believe, but that's another story. So several people have said that they've actually purchased the books that I've mentioned. One is the Sound Recordings by Peter Copeland, and so I just thought I'd talk about this again. It's a really good read, and I put a picture of the front cover for you to look at on the video. The other one is something called Making Music, which is by George Martin here, and this is also about recordings and how they're done and how instruments work and how the whole process of music making has taken place. And this is edited by George Martin, and it's a Pan original, and I think I picked up this one in a charity shop somewhere, but it's a good read. It's by Pan Books, The Guide to Writing, Performing and Recording it's called, and certainly if you're interested in that one, I think it's worth getting as well. You'll probably find that on eBay as well. And the last one, which is a really good one, and if anybody is receiving their Memory Lane magazine, which I know some of you are now, and that's good, I'm giving that a bit of a plug, that Dave Cooper does the remastering for the CDs from Memory Lane, and Dave Cooper has written this excellent book on his Master's Voice portable gramophone records. Yes, portable gramophone records, but also on gramophones. So, and for me this is quite an important milestone when I first started collecting, because it goes through all the various different machinations of the HMV Portable 101, 102, all to the standard machines as well. So it's a really good book, from things like the Pallavanavia, like I've got this particular record cleaning brush, all the various tins of needles that you could get. So if you're a bit of a gramophone buff, which I am, then you'll really enjoy reading these, even to the sort of what they call the A4 size machines as well. The Decca Raleigh is the one I quite fancy. Yeah, really lovely, and it's a really well illustrated book. And then at the end you get this amazing CD, Favourite Hits from the Popular Years it's called, And in fact, what I'll do, I'll play one of these. I think tomorrow we'll have a bit of that. And that's got everything from Noel Cowell, Duke Ellington, Gracie Fields, Geraldo, Benny Goodman and so forth. And then it actually puts out here all the people's on there. But it looks like a bit like a black gramophone. If you actually, I haven't got an HMV actually, but record, but if you think that one, that's the centre. I know it's not the same size, but you get the idea, don't you? So this CD comes off. There you go. And you can put it in your CD machine, which I'll do tomorrow for you. And I like to keep everything together, so it is there. And there we go. And it looks really stylish. But this is a really good book by Dave Cooper. It's New Cavendish Books, and 290 colour illustrations and 224 pages. It's also in hardback, and it's certainly worth getting this. I saw this, I think I got this direct from the publishers some time ago. It wasn't a cheap buy, but I just thought, as I was ramping up my collecting, I thought I'd get a copy. But there we are. Okay, right, okay, well, there are 3 things I was going to talk to you about. So there we are. I think that's all for today. Cheers to everybody. The weather's been absolutely amazing today, really nice. I went for my normal Wednesday run today, and yeah, great. I mean, there was quite a few people out running, there was quite a few people walking their dogs. So yeah, the great outdoors really. And something else that's I noticed on the press today, and that's the amount of cars on the road has fallen, and the amount of pollution has fallen below before records began. That's quite an achievement if we think about that. And clearly the new normal is going to be that we're going to do less travelling. Thank goodness I don't have to trundle around the M25 so much these days. But most of the time I used to do that. I'd spend about 2.5 hours one way, and so that's 5 hours a day. No wonder I felt so tired at times. But having this lockdown has really taken us, for me to take a step back. So the day, though it goes just as fast, I seem to enjoy it more. So there must be something about that, and enjoy work as well. So anyway, until tomorrow, may I wish you all the very best. Keep safe, keep smiling, enjoy the records that are coming up, and don't forget to comment. And I'll see you all tomorrow about the same time. Take care. A tune a day to keep the coronavirus away on the Columbia label FB3373. When the red, red robin comes bobbing along. Lou Peringer and his orchestra. Enjoy!
Doing what I did again, singing the we're singing a song all the time.
Record 3 of The Sounds of Time, Britain Stands Alone.
Children in their schoolrooms, women in their homes. None was to be spared the horror of total war.
I want you to get your knitting out and settle down comfortably at your desks. Then I want to see just how long you can sit there with your gas masks on. And when you're quite quiet, I'm going to read you a story.
But for 8 months all was quiet. It was the phony war. Then suddenly on May the 10th, 1940, the Nazi High Command released its panzer columns and mobile infantry on neutral Belgium and Holland in a swift thrust towards the undefended frontiers of France. That night, British troops crossed the frontier to meet the Wehrmacht. Three weeks later, the dazed and battered remnants of a gallant army had been swept to the sea. And across the Channel in Britain, a nation prayed for deliverance. Then came the Epic of Dunkirk. Units of the Home Fleet wrote a new and magnificent chapter in naval history. But the real miracle was provided by that great armada of little ships, pleasure boats, paddle steamers, rivercraft, to which J.B. Priestley paid a grateful nation's tribute.
Among those paddle steamers that will never return was one that I knew well, for it was the pride of our ferry service to the Isle of Wight, none other than the good ship Gracie Fields. She has paddled and churned away forever. But now, look, this little steamer, like all her brave and battered sisters, is immortal. She'll go sailing proudly down the years in the Epic of Dunkirk. And our great-grandchildren, when they learn how we began this war by snatching glory out of defeat and then swept on to victory, may also learn how the little holiday steamers made an excursion to hell and came back glorious.
Now Britain stood alone, but with the knowledge that a great empire and commonwealth was ranged alongside her. And from London, nations upon whom the Nazi tyranny had been clamped heard and were comforted by the voices of their leaders in exile. Beneš of Czechoslovakia,
Lidé československý, Češi a Slováci.
Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands,
Den schotbenacht van de stad, benoemd tot de stad.
King Haakon of Norway,
Norske kvinner og menn. Det er med vemodige følelser jeg i dag taler til det norske.
King Peter of Yugoslavia,
Da živi naša mila otadžbina Jugoslavija, koja će vaskrsnuti moćnija no što ikad bila.
Sikorski of Poland,
Rodacy, mówię do was w kulminacyjnym punkcie sukcesów germańskich.
and the voice of General de Gaulle.
J'invite les chefs, les soldats, les marins, les aviateurs.
And in this dark hour, Britain too found a voice to express her determination to stand firm.
Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.